Breaking news, the Browns defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz is not going to be the Browns defensive coordinator anymore. He is resigning from the team. Honestly, felt pretty emotional when I got this news. So I've got all the reports for you guys here on today's show, everything that's going on inside the building, what went down, and what's next for the Cleveland Browns. So this is why you hit that subscribe button, because when breaking news like this hits, I get on here, I make a video, I give you everything, every reason why it's happening, and we move forward. So welcome in. I'm your host, Joey O'Donohue, and let's just get into the reports here and feel these emotions together, as I'm just going to try to do my best to just break the news. So Tom Pelissero had it first. Jim Schwartz resigned as the Browns defensive coordinator, and then Adam Schefter came in and gave us some more insight after Jim Schwartz's resignation. We can go to Adam Schefter next, and he sent a resignation letter officially, and he's now likely to sit out this season. I mean, he's under contract. We're getting into all of it. Just first, I want your one-word reaction. When you heard this news that Jim Schwartz is officially stepping down, what was one word, first one that came to mind when you got this news that Jim Schwartz is officially resigning from the Cleveland Browns? Let me know in the comment section. Honestly, I was shocked. Shocked, and not because I didn't expect something like this to happen, but I really didn't think that Jim would go through with this and sit out of his contract that he's under, because he doesn't want to be with the Browns that much. I just can't believe it's ending this way. So let me know in the comment section. Here's the official statement from the Cleveland Browns organization. Yesterday, Jim Schwartz submitted his letter of resignation as defensive coordinator of the Cleveland Browns. We'd like to thank Jim for his contributions to our organization over the last 3 seasons. Our search for a new defensive coordinator will begin immediately. So pretty short statement there from the Browns, not like the one we got for Kevin Stefanski, and that just kind of points to how bad it ended. And, my first reaction is I thought we could be special. Oh, we could do something special next year, Jim. With Todd Monken's offense and the defense that he's coached so well the past few years, I really was optimistic here. And that's why my first reaction was just pure sadness when I heard it. It was just kind of jarring to get the news that he is resigning and sitting out. Not like he's getting a new job, not like he's retiring. He's just, I don't want to do what I'm being paid to do right now. And that's kind of my point here. As I felt my emotions, as I got it all out, the sad part of it, I got a little frustrated. I said, Jim, you're under contract to be our defensive coordinator. That is what you are paid to do. You weren't owed the Browns head coaching job. You're under contract to be the DC and the DC only. And now you're going to sit out? Sit out because you didn't get your way? You're acting like a 20-year-old NFL player, like Le'Veon Bell, who didn't like his deal and just sat on the sidelines. You're 60 years old, Jim. It's honestly immature. He'd rather sit out than be our DC. It also just shows that he does not like the Cleveland Browns organization right now. Literally. It's not like he has another job lined up. He just wants to do anything but be our DC next year. It feels disrespectful, honestly. It feels like a shot. Don't you love the players on defense enough to come back and give it one more year? Surely this is an ownership and DC disconnect issue. I mean, does this say he disrespects Todd Monken that much? Probably. He didn't want to work under Monken. He has no respect for our new head coach. It shows how mad he was, really. And those reports that I gave you guys the day of the Monken hire were valid. This one stood out to me in particular from Ari, that he told members of the Browns to essentially go screw themselves after being passed over for that head coach job. Obviously, the Schwartz element was a big hurdle Cleveland faced. They had to sort of weigh their options here. Do you want to promote Jim as head coach or straight up lose him? And after all of it, it was the truth. Diana Rossini reported it. Daniel Ifusi just came out and said that the Browns have some internal options. The defensive staff is to remain intact. I'm going to talk about that on the back half of the show here. But also for Jim, what gave you the impression that you were guaranteed our head coach job? I don't get it. unless someone told him that, which there's no way he was told that. He got 2 interviews, so did everybody else. And why did you think you had the job locked up? So much so that you're leaving because you didn't get it. It's honestly a life lesson for Jim Schwartz and for everybody out there. Don't walk into things thinking you got it all figured out, thinking you're guaranteed something. God might have a different plan for you. Take a lesson in this, Mr. Jim Schwartz. But like I have alluded to, I'm just shocked that he's doing this. I thought maybe, and Mary Kay was flat out wrong again. I got to stop believing what Mary Kay says. I'm always skeptical about it, but she's like 0 for 10 the last 10 right now. She said Jim was getting the head coach job, and then she said he's staying as DC. Guess what? Neither happened. So enough of Mary Kay. But I'm shocked that this is Jim's character. I know he's a fiery guy. I know he's a guy that will make things ugly and throw tantrums, but I can't believe he took it to this extent that he's just going to sit out and resign because he didn't get the head coach job. He won't be our DC again. It's shocking. And Todd Monken sort of made this clear in his press conference. We should have saw the writing on the wall here because Monken said this. There's a big reason why I took this job, the defensive players. I didn't take this job because of Jim Schwartz. I have a lot of respect for Jim Schwartz, as I would hope he has for me. When I was preparing for the Cleveland Browns, I wasn't trying to chip Jim Schwartz. I was trying to chip Myles Garrett. And it's been a bleep to go against this defense. I said it when I reported that in my video that's pretty telling, isn't it? Evidently it was. It was telling that the discussions in the building with Jim were not progressing well, and he has officially resigned. And Monken's right. We'll move on. After we cool down, we mourn this loss, we'll get it going. The show's going to go on. We're still going to have those same players on defense. Okay, we're still going to have the same scheme. The show will go on with or without the guy who wants to be here doesn't want to be here. And if you don't want to be here, Jim, goodbye. That's all I got to say. And I hate that I have to say it like that because, like I said, I hate that it's ending this way. I wish he would have just finished out his contract one more year, like a man, quite frankly, and then been like, all right, I don't want to run this back. I'm sad it's ending in an immature way, where I would rather be making more of a thank you for everything Jim Schwartz video than the one I have to make now, which is you're quitting on us. You're quitting on the players. You're quitting on this team. And that's honestly feels like a shot as a diehard Browns fan. A DC that I loved, respected, and wanted back in this organization doesn't want to be back with our organization. So blame whoever you want. The way I look at it is sitting out is quitting. And I don't know why you thought you were guaranteed the head coach job. Offense is our biggest need. So I like the hire. Sucks that it has to end this way, and we're going to move on. So how are we going to move on? Well, that's coming up on the back half of the show. Who could replace Jim Schwartz, and what is Cleveland going to do next? I got some answers for you here on the back half, but let's start with today's sponsor. Shout out to our friends over at Prize Picks. The big game is almost here, and there is no better way to cash in during America's biggest sporting event than Prize Picks, where it always feels good to be right. Since the big game is right around the corner, that also means it's your last chance to get into the football action before next season. So close the season out right with Prize Picks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. I love this app. It's a lot of fun. I win money. I've been crushing it with the more on quarterback passing touchdowns this playoff, so I'm going to keep that up. And since I can't watch my favorite team anymore for a while, I want a way to stay entertained during the games, have something to root for. And new feature alert, Prize Picks now has early payouts. If your player gets off to a hot start, you now have the option to cash out those winnings before the game even finishes. Join millions of users and sign up for America's #1 sports picks app. And Prize Picks has an awesome deal, a max discount for the big game Sunday, more than half a passing yard for Drake May. And I went ahead and made a two-pick power play that I got to add that to. I've got Drake May more than half a passing touchdown and Kenneth Walker more than half a touchdown in the big game. You can make lineups just like that if you download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS. Get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. What Jim did for the team, I don't want to understate. He's a great defensive coordinator. He's a go to DC, as I put it. Won a Super Bowl in Philadelphia. Changed the course of the Browns defense in 2023 and in 2025 specifically. He's been a head coach before, but guess what? Didn't work out when he was a head coach. So I don't think it would have worked out for us. I think he would have had no change if Jim Schwartz was leading the football team. He's been here the past 3 years. We haven't had winning football in the past 2 years. So it was the right decision. I can't believe he didn't accept it. Browns defense was top 4 in total defense in 2025, though. It was phenomenal what he did. It's a hole you have to fill. So how's the Browns going to do that? Well, Todd Monken did give us a little bit of insight, a little bit of inkling at his press conference on how the Browns defense may look next season. He said, my anticipation is we're not going to change the system. It's very difficult to go against. I'm not planning on changing the system. We are built for the system that they are currently in. And I'm not going to get into staffing because that's not at this time to get into that. But they can be rest assured that we're going to keep the same system. We're still going to let them attack. We're going to let them go. We're going to go let them play free. I can't see any other way. So that is at least promising. We're still going to have the same guys. Still going to probably run that 4-3 and bring in a guy that knows how to do it. There's probably potential the Browns promote from within. You know, I've talked about our linebacker coach, Jason Tarver. I've talked about our safeties coach who got DC interviews in different cycles, including the Cowboys in this cycle. Ephraim Banda could get a promotion. Also, a couple guys that Monken knows and run Jim Schwartz's system that are on the Texans staff right now. So I'll make a full video on some DC candidates now for Todd Monken and the Browns, but look out for a couple of guys that are on that Texans defensive staff, which was elite this season. The only thing that would kind of upset us is if we do promote from within. I do think that the outside analysts, the sources, the outside noise is going to make fun of our staff. They're going to because it's going to be a defensive coordinator that no one's heard of, an offensive coordinator no one's heard of, Travis Switzer, and Todd Monken, who's never been head coach. So there's going to be a lot of noise you're going to have to deal with. People are going to compare our coaching staffs and going to say the Browns one is terrible only because you don't know who they are. But I'm not going to lose hope. A lot of times, the big name, the flashy name, not necessarily what to go for, right? Just because it's more expensive doesn't mean it's a better product. And I think I'm not going to give up. Our defense should remain very similar according to what Monken's telling us. It's our offense that's going to get the boost with Todd Monken. It's the offense that's going to hopefully look a lot better. And if we keep the same players on defense, we'll be fine. Which is also a key because Denzel Ward loved Jim Schwartz and loved playing for him. Myles Garrett loved Jim Schwartz as well. You know, it's kind of, I don't want to say ironic, but Myles Garrett wins a unanimous Defensive Player of the Year award last night, and Jim Schwartz sends a resignation letter that day. I don't know, man. Don't love how this whole thing fell out and ended. But we have the same players. I do think that it's not going to be too much of a blow, especially if we keep that same system like we're going to. You know, if Garrett and Denzel Ward trade rumors start to heat up now, well, that's going to scare me here this offseason, and I bet people are going to talk about Denzel Ward. They always do. They always link him in trade rumors. He was asked about this at Radio Row the other day, or the Pro Bowl. So that would change things. But at the moment, as it stands, same roster, same system, I think we'll be fine. We're also going to draft some studs. This draft is loaded defensively. So, you know, as much as we need to go all offensive line, and a couple wide receivers, I know the Browns. I know how they draft. They're going to swing on a couple defensive guys just because of how good this class is. They draft, a lot of times they'll bring in defensive ends when they don't need them, you know. So I almost could guarantee you that they're going to take a couple defensive players, maybe a linebacker. This class is really good with safeties as well and edges. So they're going to draft a couple more defensive studs. The roster is going to improve this offseason. It's just not going to have Jim Schwartz leading the defense. And, you know, I say we're going to be fine. I don't want to underestimate how much Jim Schwartz did for the defense because he did bring the most out of those players. He did develop a lot of this talent. But they've learned from him the past couple of years, and a lot of the same guys are going to be on the staff. So, you know, you let me know in the comment section. Is the Browns defense going to be worse next year now because Jim's leaving? Y for yes, N for no. Give me your opinion down below. You tell me. We're taking a big blow here with Jim Schwartz leaving. Like I said, I'm upset about it. I think it's a blow. I don't think it's the end-all, be-all for our team, though. We'll move on. We'll be fine. Also, give me a follow. I tweeted the news right as it happened, too, so hit me up. Joey070. Also, Instagram and TikTok. Browns Report IG, Joey O. Brown. Fun highlights, fun Browns content all over those 3 platforms. And as always, hit that subscribe button because breaking news happens. I give you the best analysis and the insight and the reports on it. So, guys, thank you so much for enduring this with me. The news kind of had my emotions going rampant, but glad we were able to get the video done and give you the reports on what's going on here. And we look ahead to the future on who Cleveland's going to hire as their DC 2026. So appreciate you guys being here with me. I'll see you pretty soon.